Hey, I'm Rachael,
And I'm Amanda, and this is Beyond a Ballot.
powered by DoorDash.
Hello, and welcome to Beyond a Ballot. Hi, Rachael.
Hello, Amanda. You're very festive today.
I'm super festive. If you could see me, I am actually wearing a pair of antler ears that
Of course you
are
are.
light up
course.
because it's an exciting episode. It's our holiday party.
Woo!
And I am full and deep into the holiday spirit. If you listened to our episode last week, you know that I launched the holidays with my annual baking day. 20 women. We baked hundreds of cookies. So I'm feeling like deep in the spirit.
It looks
Go to
so
Instagram
fun.
and you can see the ridiculous headwear that I'm wearing.
It
But-
looks so fun.
Oh, it was so fun.
I'm like booking my ticket for number 20 next year already.
You should come.
just give me the
20th
date.
anniversary next year.
I
know.
can't wait. I can't
It was
wait.
super fun. It's not just you and I for this holiday
No,
fun.
we have
Today
some
we are
guests.
joined by, a powerhouse group of guests. None of them arrived with headgear, but one of them did arrive with festive footwear. So maybe she'll tell you about it.
Oh,
Here to join us is Brittany Kerr, founder of Frame Point Public Affairs, Kate Harrison, vice chair with Summa Strategies, and Kim Wright, principal and founder of Wright Strategies. Welcome and happy holidays.
Happy
Merry
holidays.
Christmas, happy holidays.
okay. Who's wearing the cool footwear?
Oh, it's me. Look, I am a footwear lover of all things, although years ago I had to stop wearing heels. But I did find yesterday Converse made a pair of very funky Christmas full-on kicks, and they include little gingerbread men and wreaths and greens and reds and just the happiest little elf.
Cool. Oh my God. I wish we had what are those promo codes to send to all our followers for those shoes? Because now they're going to sell out.
Sponsoring today's episode.
Exactly. Thank you, Converse, for bringing some holiday cheer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can't see them, but they look pretty
joy.
cool. Just joy. Okay. Why don't we start by going around and saying, like, really, this episode is about 2024 because we're here at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We want to talk about everything that happened. So I'll just maybe open up the floor to ask who has a story that they felt was the biggest story of the year. What was 2024 defined as for you? Anyone want to go? Everyone's like, no,
I mean, look,
pick me, don't pick me.
it's been a chaos monkey year by every and every measure. I was going back
100%.
through like what has happened in the year, and it started with Carolyn Bennett's resignation way back in January, which started the ball rolling.
Was that in 2024?
It was.
That was like 5 years ago.
It was. When they say a week is a lifetime in politics. Holy cow, this year. But yeah, and on January 16th of 2024, Carolyn Bennett resigned. And if you had asked anybody to get some Vegas odds would St. Paul's not be a liberal safe seat come the end of June? Right. Well, you probably would have lost that bet, but here we are. And that set a whole bunch of other things in motion. I think Carolyn Bennett's resignation becomes the new Scott Bryson resignation.
Right. Yeah, because Scott Bryson was like the domino effect, right? Like with all of these different people resigning and moving. That was a couple of years ago for anybody that missed it. But yeah, definitely
sign of the political apocalypse to come and all the rest of it. But yeah.
Ooh, that's okay. We're going to get into that. What was, Kate, what do you think was the story of 2024?
Yeah, I think it's defined really by upheaval. Kim and yourself, Rachael, spoke to the chain reaction that, Carolyn Bennett's resignation caused for, a change in course in politics in Canada. But if you just look around the world, it's pretty clear that people are upset and they are looking to change out their governments. Even, I'm sure Brittany will touch on what's happening in her home province in BC. But if you had told me at the beginning of this year that David Eby's government would be seriously under threat in the election that occurred this fall, I would have questioned that. And so I really think this year has been defined by upheaval, dissatisfaction that a lot of voters have right now. We're seeing that carried out against incumbent governments, particularly incumbents that were in charge during the pandemic. There's been a couple of exceptions where folks have held on. Nova Scotia comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I think that we are seeing a lot of that voter frustration play out with just changing up who governs them in Canada and around the world.
All right. So, Brittany, was David Eby the story of 2024 for you?
Well, it's so funny because, and I should just say to our listeners, I know Amanda and Rachael have shared that there's a lot of women who tune in and a lot of moms. I have a 9-month-old here at home, and she's going to be going down for a nap soon.
We
so
love,
if you hear any noise in
babies.
the background,
oh no, don't worry. We're so baby friendly. We're so pro baby.
She will be quiet in like T-minus 5 minutes. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I don't know if I would have ever thought, and this says a lot, I think, about my regard for provincial politics. So I should probably be careful about how I say this, but to think that I would be more tuned in to the BC election than I was the American election says a lot. It was just, and Rachael, I know you did so many great podcasts during the election period, but yeah, it was, I think, Kate, you said it really well. Where was David Eby? Where was he, Rach, in February,
right,
or March? I mean, I think weren't they up by like 30 or 40 points?
Oh yeah,
and then look where we landed on election day. So yeah, I think Kate makes a good point there in terms of upheaval. And then Kim, Carolyn Bennett's resignation. One of my kind of big events that I can think about in 2024 obviously was the Toronto St. Paul by-election and what that did, I think, for the Liberal Party, what that did internally in terms of sort of the effect it had on caucus, on Liberal Party members, staff. It was pretty significant. Where I think we're still kind of, feeling it today, right?
Definitely. So if those were some of the biggest stories or biggest moments, what do you think the biggest issue was of 2024? Or a lot that have been talked about, but what do you think is the
money,
the big
money,
guy?
money.
Okay, Kate, you go.
Affordability, right? And affordability has kind of consistently been a top issue in the last 12 or 18 months. I don't think it's a 2024 thing specifically. I really have seen the ground shift, and I'm curious if you guys agree, in 3 different areas. The first has been in the conversation around the carbon tax, like just massive public opinion shifts on whether or not that is the right way for Canada to go to address climate change. I think Conservatives have made it an affordability issue. Whether or not, you take the point around the rebate you get or whatever. I do think that there's been a shift in public opinion on that. I would say the same for safe supply. You're seeing a lot of governments react to that very differently than they have in the past. I think that we saw that play out in BC. Right. You're seeing it play out a bit nationally as well in terms of an area of focus. And the other one, and I would put this equally on the radar for 2025, an issue we're talking about that I think is going to pick up a lot of steam, is the conversation around immigration and growth. Growth has become a bad word in Canadian politics for a lot of people. And that is concerning in terms of an economic base. And obviously, we have had a consensus in Canada for a long time on immigration. And I think you're starting to see public opinion shift in a way that I don't think is xenophobic at this point, but I think is a concern heading into 2025. In terms of how Canadians are reacting to the growth that's happening in their communities, whether or not it's sustainable, what we're doing to address it. So affordability defined 2024, but those 3, climate change, safe supply, immigration, I think those are really going to be key issues heading into next year because the ground seems to be shifting on them.
Well said. Kim, your thoughts on that one? Biggest issues?
It always comes back to housing, right? Why do we feel like there is a massive immigration problem? Because everywhere you go, there are tent cities and encampments popping up. There is not a province or that isn't touched. There was a stat I saw earlier this year that said if you were working full time at a minimum wage job, you couldn't afford a 1-bedroom apartment anywhere in this country. That's if you could find one. So when you start to look at why is immigration showcased in such a way? Well, we had a couple of summers ago where mass immigration was happening and no place to put them. The shelters were all full. There was no new housing being built. People were going around. Premier Ford was going around with his giant vanity check, and Sean Fraser was going around coast to coast with his housing accelerator fund, except for people weren't building housing. Municipalities weren't building them. The NIMBY movement was up in arms. So if London, England had a stat earlier this summer that came out that something to the effect of, if you're letting in 1 million to 2 million more people and you've only built 100,000 units of housing, well, of course you're going to be insecure. Of course it's going to be a crisis. So fundamentally, this comes back to people are insecure because they don't have a place to live. And how many women listening to this podcast, how many people listening to this podcast know somebody who has never left a very unsafe situation because they have no place to go? That's the reality that people are facing. And so it is just as simple as sometimes it's the economy stupid, but most of the time it's housing stupid.
Brittany, your thoughts on issues?
Yeah, I think affordability is the one. I mean, I think about well, on the housing side. I remember when at the beginning of the Trudeau government, beginning in 2015, 2016, I remember we started talking about housing affordability versus affordable housing. And the sort of, for the first time, I think there was this distinction around, well, we know what the distinction is. And I think since then, the discourse has shifted entirely to, less about, folks who are like trying to secure housing at all. And that is a serious issue, and that has grown exponentially, but also about, I guess what we would call middle class Canadians who are priced out of the market too. And that I think is something we've seen, maybe not for the first time in 10 years, but it's just become so much more amplified. But yeah, it isn't, I mean, yeah, Kate, you said it, on the carbon tax and the Conservatives having made it one about affordability, it was really smart. I mean, and it also, it just touched on where Canadians are today. I mean, again, British Columbia, we think about when all of the premiers started to fall away, I think on their support for this legislation. David Eby was the last premier standing, the lone premier standing, and then that quickly changed too. And he sort of backtracked on that just in and around the campaign out here in the fall. So yeah, it's I think you said it right.
Can we give a special shout out on this of the Chaos Monkey year to Blaine Higgs? And his chaosness that he is unleashed on humanity, let alone everything else. What feels like his some advisor to him watched the first recast of Sex and the City and went, "Oh, we should punish the LGBTQ community for not telling us if we've changed our pronouns." And then it became policy, and then it became a thing. And thank goodness the fine folks in New Brunswick said, "No, enough is enough. This isn't about woke or not. This is, are you being a jerk to humanity or not?" And Blaine Higgs, special shout out. You not only lost your government, but you lost your seat, and good riddance. So
Here.
I know I'm coming at it with pink boxing gloves today, but Blaine Higgs,
do it.
Special shout out.
I like it.
I could use a workout. Okay, let's spin to the positive here on that note. Win. What was the big win, political win of 2024? Was it the Conservatives in the by-election? Was it, I'm just thinking of like 200 Conservative wins, obviously. Like the Conservative messaging, the Conservative caucus. Okay, what was the big win of 2024?
Rachel is definitely going to clip that one for Instagram now.
Definitely.
It's just going to be her talking about the Conservative wins.
The great Conservatives. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about some other great things that happened to the Liberals and the NDP too. What do you think the political win of 2024 was?
Look,
Oh,
Jagmeet
boy.
Singh ripping up that confidence and supply agreement could
Oh.
not have
No,
been
you're
a
not saying that's a win,
100%.
Kim.
100%
Come
I
on.
am.
Kim.
100% I am.
Okay,
And here's why. Why is it a
Why?
win?
Tell us,
First of
tell us.
all, it was hugely unpopular within our own caucus. And, the time had come. We got dental care, we got pharmacare, we got anti-stab legislation, all of those amazing things that are really, truly helping Canadians. But time came to rip this thing up and get back to either traditional minority parliaments where we start going case by case and really starting to look at, all right, how can we push? How can we push harder? How can we get those blue, orange, riding by riding, neighborhood by neighborhood? And that's what we're seeing across the country. And good on them for finally doing it. It was about gosh darn time. And then pushing on things like the GST holiday, which I know Kate Harrison loves, especially when she campaigned on it with Erin O'Toole before. But, these are things that are actually going to help people. These are really major things, but thank goodness you could not have found a happier Canadian in the universe than me when he ripped up that confidence supply agreement that had run its course.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Brittany. Yep.
I feel like
But-
go ahead, Brittany. I need to
You-
collect myself.
I need everyone. I need
Kate's
everyone
got
to
figure
bear with
out how
me.
to verb the noun on this one and come back at it.
Okay. Brittany, what do you think?
Well, I have a new one, so maybe Kate wants to chime in on CASA.
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Happy to. I think wins probably involve other people patting you on the back, not just yourselves. And I see the NDP doing some victory laps around the supply and confidence agreement when they've continued to vote 20 plus times in the House to support the Liberals. Next week, Jagmeet Singh is going to have to literally eat his own words when the Conservatives have a confidence motion that talks exactly about the day he ripped up the agreement and said, the Liberals were corrupt and there's no way he could support them. And now he will support them yet again.
And the Conservatives voted against a tax holiday, so wins.
If there is a
Spicy.
shift in public opinion that happens, that materializes because the NDP are drawing some contrast, I have yet to see that. And I think that they will give the GST holiday credit not to the NDP, but to the Liberals. Same with the dental care, same with the pattern of, yes, admittedly, NDP promises, but Liberal government deliverables. We haven't seen the NDP gain any ground with voters because they have achieved those things. So I would have put the ripping up and the theatrics around the SACA in more of the miss pile than a win pile. But time will tell if voters want to give the NDP some credit. I think they probably needed to do that 6 or 8 months ago and actually, have the kahunas to pull down the government, which they haven't demonstrated just yet.
Polling,
So
just so you know, polling, Kate, has shown that in some of these polls we're either neck and neck or surpass the Liberals, which is actually huge.
Then let's go to an election. That sounds like a call for an election to me, Kim.
Canadians do
make
want
that happen
governing.
on this
I
podcast?
know it happens. It's this thing about governing. You Conservatives tend to not like the governing aspect of it all.
Is there a win for the Conservatives there, Kate, in there somewhere? What was their big win?
Well, I think what I would observe is that the Conservatives are now campaigning against the NDP. They've stopped campaigning against the Liberals. Their attack ads are now about Jagmeet Singh because they know that he's the vulnerable party. And there's probably not much more ground there for the Liberals, for the Conservatives to gain. I would say that a Conservative win this year, it's a bit macro, but becoming the voice of workers. All of the efforts that have been made by Erin O'Toole and continued by Pierre Poilievre, I think are finally bearing fruit. We've had the current government force workers back to work, which I wouldn't have thought the Liberal government would do. And they're doing it now. And the Conservatives have come out and said that they wouldn't have taken those decisions. So I think that's been a slow burn for the Conservatives, but I think that we're starting to see it pay off in terms of getting support from blue collar workers, and provincially, Doug Ford, this has been a big thing for him as well. And I think that that is an effort that's demonstrating some success. So I think they deserve some credit for that and shoring up those relationships from my perspective this year.
Okay, Brittany, I'm stressed out. Tell us.
I have a win.
Yeah.
Let's not describe this as necessarily, well, I gotta really be careful with how I say this. I'm going to focus on a win for the Prime Minister. So this isn't necessarily
that's so nice, Brittany.
A win for the Liberals.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about a win for the Prime Minister is that he's still Prime Minister today. He endured a lot of turmoil in his caucus, and I think kind of among the broader Liberal, apparatus. And there was, moments, I think, this fall when everyone wondered whether or not he'd still be serving as leader of the party. And he is today. He's still standing, still as, bullish as ever, perhaps more so because President Trump has been reelected. So, you know what, that's a pretty big win for the Prime Minister.
Ooh, that was a good one and slightly unexpected. I like that. Well, that was a little spicy. We like a little spice in the house. Yeah. Speaking of the house, I want to ask you this. Okay, it doesn't even have to be the house. This is just in general. In politics, in Canada, who made the biggest mark this year?
I have to say John Rustad. This is something that Canadians did not know at the beginning of 2024. There was, you want to talk about upheaval. We saw basically the disintegration of the BCU to become the BC Conservatives, taking a very different path and course in terms of the right of center party in that province. And I think he's holding his own in BC. He's grown his seat count exponentially. I would say he tabled a lot of ideas, including controversial ones during the election campaign. And I think he did make a big mark on Canadian politics, certainly conservative politics this year. And he's now a force in BC. The January, February, March, that was absolutely not the case.
Okay.
That's
Kim?
Interesting.
Oh,
who made the biggest mark?
I and perhaps it's a bit showing my party colors, but Carla Beck from Saskatchewan.
We had Carla on.
Interesting choice. We did.
She's fantastic. The ad campaign they ran, call it around Labor Day, just in the pre-RIP period. She did this baseball ad that was
I asked her about
awesome.
It on the pod.
I love a great ad. And there are so few great ads. And for those who are listening in and you're like, how do I make a great video ad? Watch it on mute. That's my pro tip. Watch it on mute. If you can't tell what's being said or what is being emoted, you've wasted your money. So do
I
that.
Love that tip
because that's how people consume it, right? You're scrolling, or you're watching it in a bar, or you're watching it in a food court. You're not really listening, you're watching. So if you can't convey your message on mute, you've wasted your ad in my estimation. But that ad and the way she came at this campaign and her team came at this campaign, and it was just remarkable. And look, Scott Moe is a machine and a force, and but she took him to the mattresses on this one, and I was super proud of that campaign and the people that got elected, Sally Hauser and others, and it's going to be a very interesting house and a very interesting time in Saskatchewan.
So exciting. Okay, Brittany, who made the
biggest
mark?
I love that the two that we've shared so far are at the sub-national level. That's really cool, and I agree with both. The particularly John Rustad. I mean, you're right, Kate. Like, it's just to live here is
in January, and now he's a force.
Who for the last 17 years that he's been in the legislature, and now people know his name in Ontario.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and it's Anyway, but it's such a boring answer. But I mean, I think Trump maybe is going to be, it's more for 2025. But I mean, even just how many days after his election did we start talking about tariffs and the impact that is going to have for us domestically and for them in the US too? I mean, it's pretty significant. So I mean, he's sort of in the tail end here of 2024, but I think it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's definitely a pretty big one.
Can I choose one?
Sure, Rachel, you can participate.
I just
exactly.
I was thinking, who really changed the face of politics for me this year? I'm going to go with Dawn Stewart, the new MP from Toronto St. Paul's, because we did touch about St. Paul's.
I was like, who's Dawn Stewart?
Oh my God. It's okay. A lot of people are going to say that. And it's not really Don himself. It's more that for me, that was the day that everything shifted. I think, Amanda and I, we did a lot of media on that day because it was so surprising. I remember going to sleep in BC and thinking, oh, there's no way that this is going to happen for the Conservatives. I mean, the Conservative camp was telling us, Jenny Byrne was on TV saying this is not going to happen. And I woke up in the morning and I had a message saying, like, are you doing any media today? I thought, why would I do media on a loss for the Conservatives? And we had won. And that was crazy. Yeah. And I think that really changed a trajectory in this country. Amanda, do you have one for 2024?
I do. And it pains me to say it. But I'm going to be really honest, I can't believe none of you said it, but for me, it has to be Pierre Poilievre.
Yes,
it does. Agree. I know you're so excited, Rach, but I know. For all the right and wrong reasons, I don't think anyone made as big a mark in 2024 in Canadian politics than he did.
That's
to
true.
Take that party and the trajectory that it's on to dominate in communications, to lead on the issues, to set the agenda, has been an absolutely remarkable year for him. Can he keep it up? I don't know. Curious what your thought. Oh, this is a good segue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Rachel. I'm stealing your question.
Okay.
Who should we be watching? And then we're going to get, after this, I think we're going to get to the rapid fire round. But if those were the people who made the biggest mark in 2024, who should we all be paying attention to? Who are we watching in 2025?
And now a word from our title sponsor, DoorDash. Season 2 of Beyond a Ballot is officially powered by DoorDash. Just like we go beyond a ballot, DoorDash goes beyond delivery. DoorDash is committed to helping merchants reach new customers, providing Dashers with flexibility, and giving Canadians more time for what matters most. Last week, we heard from Ganyet Oyesomi of Wang Dao Bistro in Morden, Manitoba, who says she's seen an increase in profit and popularity since partnering with DoorDash. This week, we're diving deeper into DoorDash's first ever Canadian Community Report to learn more about how DoorDash helps save consumers time and stress. Did you know that 78% of parents surveyed say DoorDash helps them be productive or gives them more time for other activities? And that 70% of these parents use that extra time to be with their families. Or that 93% of consumers surveyed agree that DoorDash reduces the burden of cooking when they don't have time. For me, as a busy mom, DoorDash helps me not stress about what's for dinner when I'm late for school pickup. It's easy to see how DoorDash empowers Canadian businesses, Dashers, and families alike.
And maybe this time we'll start with you, Brittany.
Well, the first person who comes to mind, and I don't have a crystal ball and I have no insider information. I think I'm going to be, I know everyone's talking about, when the election is going to be, and what it means for the prime minister. So I'm trying to think about the best way to sort of share this answer. If the prime minister, if there's a decision that he's no longer the leader after the election, maybe on his own accord or on the accord of voters, who's going to be kind of, next in line or standing in line. And I think for 2025, I think a lot of Western Canadians in particular are going to be looking to Christy Clark.
Oh yeah.
Are going to be watching and
good
seeing what she's
answer.
up to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you probably have heard a little bit about, you know, her entertaining, what, you know, as I said, the future, not necessarily today. So we'll
Brittany
see.
is very concerned about being quoted on this.
I like the worst
We'll
kept
see.
secret is in Hollywood.
There's no
Didn't she announce? Didn't she say she put out a statement she will be running eventually? I think she did. Well, she did kind of announce it on our podcast because we asked her when she was on whether or not she'd ever run federally, and her response was, "Well, the position's not up for grabs."
Yeah.
And we thought, oh, she wants to be leader. So that was like kind of the first little hint that she was interested.
That was a good pick.
But I think she, you know, I'm not going to comment on the leadership stuff because I don't think it's productive right now. But Kate, I think she'd be a formidable opponent to Pierre. She's a really effective communicator. She, you know, she's folksy, she's charming, she's affable. I think that there are a lot of British Columbians, and particularly some British Columbians maybe in the Federal Liberal Party, who will be really curious to learn where she stands on some policy issues because, you know, there are, you know, maybe how she governed in British Columbia in a center-right coalition might be different than how she would govern in maybe a centrist party federally. But I don't know. I think I don't know if Pierre would know what to do with her.
Yeah. It to me, the question is, does she survive a Liberal leadership? Because I kind of see the party going a couple, and I mean, this is obviously, I'm on the outside looking in on Liberal leadership dynamics, but I sense that we will see something similar play out to what we saw in Ontario, which was, you know, kind of your business Liberal in Bonnie Crombie going against somebody that's a little bit more of the terracotta red orange flavor of the party in Nader Erskine Smith. I see that playing out maybe at a national level, right? So do you have, you know, kind of like who occupies that business Liberal space? And I tend to agree that there is room for that candidate to come in and do well, especially, you know, particularly in suburbs if they have a good affordability message. I just don't know if that's the direction the party ends up going, or if they end up leaning more aggressively into the progressive side of things, try to scoop up what they can of the remnants of the NDP. For me, the one to watch, I'll just while I'm holding the talking stick, is Jamil Javani. New member of parliament from the Durham region. Obviously a strong communicator for Conservatives. I think he represents where conservatism is likely to go in Canada. And of course, as documented in the press, he happens to have been the former college roommate of the incoming vice president. And Canada-U.S. relations are as much of a feature as they seem to be for 2025 and beyond. I think that he's somebody Canadians should be paying a lot of attention to right now.
That's right. I forgot he was his roommate. That might help us.
Maybe. I wouldn't put all the eggs in the basket, but it's any connections and warm connections are helpful, right?
You can probably text him. That's what's cool. So
Kim,
what about that softwood lumber?
So it sort of feeds into that a bit. It's the next ones, right? It's the group that are just below the surface. Who are some of these candidates, the newbies that are going for nominations? What are they saying? You know, you think back to Andrew Scheer had some 80 pro-life candidates, and what does that change for caucus dynamics, for conversations? How does that start to unfold? So those are the kinds of my opposition researcher hat and the next ones as they start to filter through that. And then the other part, as you're looking at the next ones, can Pierre Poilievre share a stage with them? Can he share a message box with them? Is he going to let them be free to engage? Or is he going to hold firm and basically, act like Elizabeth May and not really like to share? So those are the things that I'm really watching for in the new year.
That might be the first time Pierre Poilievre and Elizabeth May have ever been compared to one another. I just want it noted. that one an unlikely pairing.
Offering potential leadership candidates and not sharing a stage. It feels like a combination.
I get it. I get the connection.
We'll see. Look, I think it's all going to be fascinating, and we'll watch to see whether or not Janelle or others get to come out of the shadow and become something. And fundamentally, and we haven't talked about this, but the passing of Brian Mulroney has left a big gaping hole, especially in U.S.-Canada relations. If you think about the USMCA, it was him going down to Mar-a-Lago and really trying to help find that, is there an elder statesman voice, a statesperson voice coming out? I don't know. There's certainly some who are trying to go for that crown, but that's a big hole that the passing of Mr. Mulroney has left in this country and globally.
That's so true. Who are those other people? I don't know, that are playing that statesman or statesperson role. Something to think about. Okay, Brittany.
She went.
Oh, she went.
So now.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh,
so now we're going into rapid fire.
She was first. Okay,
she was
got
first.
it. That's
she was first.
Gosh.
Okay. So we're going to do, here's what's left. Oh, listeners, we're going to do a little rapid fire.
Okay.
This is a chatty bunch, but we're going to ask them to give us a one word answer, or two if you have to. 1 or 2 word answer. And then when we're done that, we're going to ask you each for your biggest prediction of 2025. And that's how we're going to wrap the pod. But let's get into it. Rapid fire, holiday rapid fire. And the first question is, who is the best MP in the House?
Doesn't have to be from your party.
No, and I feel like I wish we had music right now.
I know, like Jeopardy playing, just to stress them out even
just
more.
Giving them. We're filling the silence for a moment, just to give them a second, collect their thoughts. And Kate,
Melissa Lantsman.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. I should have said it out loud.
Okay. I mean, we could have just Newlywed Game that.
It's a good pick. No, it's a great pick. It's a
Newlywed Game. That would have been a good idea. Okay, Kim.
Brittany. Okay, Kim.
No, Brittany.
Let's go with Minister Fraser.
So good. Yeah, I agree.
Sean Fraser. Okay.
Fraser's a good.
Kim.
Best in the House. Good Lord. You know what? Because Lantsman would have been my number one pick on that.
You can choose Lantsman again.
I'm going to choose Lantsman. I'm going Newlywed Game here. It's a Melissa Lantsman. Yeah.
Wow. That was good.
Okay. MP, this is my favorite one. MP you don't know, but you want to be friends with. Brittany?
Well, this is annoying because I do feel like it's Melissa Lantsman.
Oh my God. This is the Melissa Lantsman show.
And surprise, Melissa Lantsman is here to join us. No,
exactly. And in the wings, our really holiday gift.
Yeah, exactly. Is an hour with Melissa Lantsman. Okay.
Okay, why? So no, you don't get to say why. It's a 2-word.
I know. I'm only 1-word answer.
Okay, and Kim.
Okay.
I know the ones I want to be friends with. Look, that I don't know.
I know it's so hard.
I know, like you think about all the people you know.
You're on the spot. I know.
I mean,
it's so true. I am thinking about all the people I know.
Yeah, like
Kim, just pick a liberal.
Yeah.
Do I have to?
And Nate Erskine-Smith sounds pretty
but
interesting.
I know Nate.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Jamie Maloney is awesome to hang with. I just, there's lots of people.
Do you know who's so good? And she is like a total riot. Is Hetty Fry.
Hetty Fry.
She's the best.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Longest serving female MP.
Is she?
Still marching in Pride.
Wow.
She's a riot.
A Vancouver local.
Can I chime in?
Do you have a second pick?
Yeah, let's hear what Kate's is.
I say Wayne Long because he's just
God.
he's stirring the pot. not particularly well, and I'd want to be his friend to like let him know how to wreak
Like,
havoc
help
in the
him?
Liberal Party.
Oh my God.
How
Yeah.
annoying.
Way
Just
long.
kidding.
And runner up Raquel Dancho, because she's a new
Oh,
mom,
yeah.
and I think that she is doing a really great job in the House, and
That's a
she just
good one.
seems like a real person.
See,
She's
Kate
awesome.
knows them. That's like it was the who you don't know, right? Like
She says she doesn't know them.
I
We're seeing a
don't.
shaking
I
head.
I
don't.
don't think she's close with Wayne. I
I
don't think
definitely
so.
am not close with Wayne. I have so much
That
free
would be
advice
a
for Wayne.
like
if he's
the
Big
listening.
shocking surprise on this podcast.
like
Uh,
We were
person,
like, Wayne and I.
person who
we're like
doesn't get
this.
enough shout out in conservative land is Layla Goodridge. She's just awesome.
That's funny. I
Right.
was thinking
Yeah.
about her.
Layla is fantastic
Yeah, also-
and spicy and just like you just can't help but adore her. But again, we know her.
Okay, this two words. Okay, here we go. Next
Okay.
question. A woman we should all be watching, and you cannot say Lanceman.
She is banned from here on in. Okay. Who's a
Okay.
woman?
Woman we should all be watching.
I would have to say I recognize I'm taking a lot of conservative picks here, and I'm sorry for that. But I have to say Jenny Byrne, national campaign manager for the Conservatives, has a huge amount of influence over the direction of the party, and kind of speaking for the grassroots to the party apparatus. And so, for me, she's the one to watch in 2025.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Susan Holt.
Oh, that's a
Mm.
good
Good choice.
choice.
Good choice.
The new
Kim?
premier
sorry, go
of
ahead.
New Brunswick, for those that don't know.
Yeah.
My my behind the scenes pick is and people you should get to know, Erin Morrison, Deputy Chief of Staff to Jagmeet Singh, former DCOM in Ontario. Absolute
Oh.
rock star. She's pundit and one of my besties, but I will say this woman is brilliant and sharp, and I can't say enough awesome things about her.
Okay. Rach, you have the next question?
I know. I'm trying to think of something that's like totally off the cuff. Funniest line. No. I was going to say funniest line of 2025. How do you, or 2024,
That's so
how do you,
Easy. For me,
What?
it's got to go to a Trump line, like he was the great one-liners. I have a concept of a plan. Do you know how much I've been using that in everyday
I have
life?
a concept of
Yeah.
a plan.
I have a
That's
concept.
perfect. That
of a
was
plan.
the perfect. That was the winner right there.
Yeah.
I'm
was the winner.
surprised that you didn't, what was the word that Pierre kept saying? He called the prime minister, wacko. I'm surprised
yeah.
that wasn't the word of the year.
Doesn't
That wasn't
apply
funny,
as much in my
though. That
life.
was
Oh,
just
did I ask
lame.
funny?
No.
I meant
Yeah.
message of
Yeah.
the year.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, message of the
okay.
year has got to be all of the verbing, the nouns that all the conservatives have to use on a daily
Right?
Slogan.
Yeah.
the tax, the da 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 da, and it always has to be three. Although Pierre broke the pattern the other day, because at some point we all start clowning on these things, but he went for 4 words and not the 3 word verbing the noun. So we'll see.
Oh.
We'll see what happens next year.
We'll see. Okay, I have 2 more. Rachel, how many do you have?
I have 0. So you just
Okay, I'll do
fly.
my last 2. Okay, ready?
Okay.
The first one is, who is going to get coal in their stocking?
It's
Okay,
like, I
Kate,
know.
go. You
Yeah.
go.
Randy Boissonneau ×2.
Oh,
I don't know which
oh
Randy
God.
is gonna
I can't
go.
believe he just came up. That's so
I know,
funny.
we made it like half an hour without talking about Randy Boissonneau
And the other Randy.
and the other Randy and his many associates. Coal in the post office box, please, as opposed to anything else. But yeah, he's the recipient of coal.
Okay. Who else is delivering coal? Brittany, you have one?
Oh gosh. Well, I think I'm going to go in Kim's direction. These god awful premiers who are attacking these young kids, Scott Moe and Alberta, and I think that those guys, they need a big heap of coal in their stockings.
All right, Kim.
Kim, what do you think?
Mine is Minister Guilbeault, for as long as we get to call him that. the man went to the literal train station and started, chirping off about the prime minister and leadership in the Ottawa train station. For that alone, the man needs a giant whack of coal.
Oh my god. Okay.
That was spicy. Okay, my last question, and it's really the best one. Which holiday movie should everyone be watching this season? Best pick for a holiday movie. And if you can't think of one, you can say a holiday song, I guess, if you're really stumped for a holiday movie. But
no, go with the movie. I'm gonna go first. Home Alone. Okay. It's my favorite, and I can't wait to show it to my 3-year-old this year. I'm like counting the minutes.
That is peak age,
right?
My son is 5, and it's on rotation in the house. Like,
I'm so jealous.
Like an embarrassing amount. For me, it's A Wonderful Life. We do love that Christmas movie. Is such a good message. Tough watch for the first half, but yeah, it's a great one. It's a classic.
Okay,
I like it.
Kim?
Okay.
Oh, for me, it's not the holiday season. It's not Christmas until I watch Scrooged. The Bill Murray iteration of that, that is just
that's hilarious.
Classic with the fairy Bernadette Peters, who just like slugs at people. Like the campiness, but also the awesome messages of it are just epic. And Bill Murray is a treasure in that movie.
Okay, I've never seen it, so that's on my list.
Add it to your list. Let's hear about it. Let's get a review going later.
Exactly. Brittany?
Well, I think it's the women's dilemma or controversy, like Die Hard, but for us at our house, Sound of Music. I know some people don't think it's a holiday movie, but we always watch it every year. You know that these are a few of my favorites.
Yeah,
it's a holiday song, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So that is got to be at the top for me.
That's such a nice.
What's your favorite cover of that song? Because mine is Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson is a killer rendition.
Really?
Her Wrapped in Red album, killer. That and John Legend, Legendary Christmas. Those are my 2 go-to Christmas albums all the time.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm festive.
I'm going to ask one final.
We're at pretty much out of time here.
I know, but I want to do
2
seconds. Can I just
2
keep
seconds.
you guys for 2 seconds?
Okay,
Can
2
you
seconds.
just tell us biggest prediction for 2025? What do you think is going to happen?
We're going to have an election.
Kate, we're going to have an election. Is that what we're going to end on and just all of us decide that that's going to be our biggest prediction?
Yes.
Yes.
I think even Vegas will get that one right.
Yeah, exactly. That was.
When's it going to be though? When's it gonna be?
I mean, that's really the prediction.
Q1, Q2.
No, we're out of time, right? Like, I think
we're Amanda's like eating lunch. She's like, I'm good here.
After the Ontario election, it'll probably happen.
Yeah. That's
we think there's going to be an Ontario election first. Interesting. I think Doug's running out of runway here. It's getting closer and closer. Brittany,
I'll say spring.
Spring. Okay.
Brittany.
Okay. I don't have any insider information.
Yeah, I'm going to say Q2 also.
I love how Brittany qualifies all of her answers with that. Guys, I don't have insider information.
Amanda's like, I feel like she's just like,
you tell us everything.
But the bigger question is, will it happen before we get Rep TV?
What is that?
Taylor Swift, Reputation, Taylor's version? How would you guys not know what Rep TV is? Good Lord. Am I the only Swiftie in the group?
Oh my.
No.
I guess I'm not. Okay, well.
I love that she ended her tour with Toronto and Vancouver. Taylor's version. It's great. It's a great show.
Taylor's version. Of course.
Well, that was fun. It was spicy. It was all the things. We hope that you learned a little something today. We hope that you're walking away with a good Christmas holiday flick to watch and some predictions for the new year. We can't do this show without having amazing guests and people who are really generous with their time and their smart, thoughtful answers. So a big thank you to our guests, Brittany, Kate, and Kim. It's a wrap for our holiday party 2024, but we wish you all the best over the holidays. We'll be back next week.
Likewise. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for listening. New episodes air every Friday.
Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and find us at beyondaballot.com.